Okay, so today I'm just going to do something a little bit different here. Um, well, sort of different, sort of not different. I've just been puttering around playing. And I did a little more bringing up models in just to kind of tweak that out. And I ran into some things that I didn't like. I had some building models, which I'm just going to switch over to screen and camera here right now. And I'm going to drag this over to here. And I'm going to show you. So this, let me just go change my view on this a bit maybe. View, and I'm going to go extra large icons. There we go. Okay, so you can see here this texture. This is for the aircraft carrier. Here's the model of it. And then here's the texture file. It's all on one sheet. I don't have a normal map for this. I don't need a normal map for it. It's off in the distance. The players won't interact with it in the end game where I'm going to be using it, much in the same context I'm using it here. But I have run into an issue with some things that I just cannot make work. So this caretaker shack. So if we look in here, here's my model, but then I've got all these different material files. So they're all just different texture files mapped to different things. So I'm just going to change that view to extra large. So you can see here like a roof with a bunch of stuff on it. So there's a ton of things in these different maps. Another albedo there. That's kind of a shutter roof. Here's another metal. There's some wood doors and stuff up here. So anyway, you can see that those are multiple files for the same object. I'm just going to open that up here, and you can see that this is just a shack. And I don't know why that flaps up there, but this was a pretty simple model. There's not much to it. Like if I go over here to stats, you can actually see triangles. There's only like 1,699 triangles, so there's not that much, right? Vertices 2,500. There's not a whole heck of a lot of triangles, polygons going through for that. So it's a relatively simple model. The problem is that with all these different texture files, it's not able to map to the model when I import it. It lets me kind of choose one in Game Guru Max. So that is a problem for me. And so I was just doing some testing, and yeah, it seems like they want one, maybe two materials only, and then your diffusion maps, your normal maps, etc., map to those. So it's going to make it a little harder to get the models where I want. What I'm probably going to have to do is take those models, bring them into Blender, and then export them into another format, or create a UV map and export that UV map and then re-import it. I'll have to do a little playing around with that anyway. So I've been doing a bit of playing with that. It's taking a long time to save my level, and I know why that is. So I made my planet a lot bigger and raised it up way higher in the sky. So it looks better from the ground level. And then I also decided, zip down here, we'll follow this path down to the beach. I shrank down my willow tree. I was just playing around to see how big I could get it and keep its realism. So I shrank it down and just moved the particle effects one for each branch, kind of from over top here. If I look down, you can kind of see the particle effects are one there, one under here, one under here, just so they come in from under each branch. Not really doing much with that. I was just playing around a little bit more. And then down here, I decided, well, I felt a little more creative than playing around with how to do stuff. So what I did was I just did a little bit of ground flattening and threw some trees in around and brought in my church model here, my cathedral model. So my plan with this was always to have it go into like I was always planning to do kind of like a Diablo-esque. You go into the mausoleum and then you go into the dungeon below it. It's always been a good trope, a good standby, so it always works. So I kind of got that in there. And what I've got going on for it, and the reason that the save time is, it's like a 90 meg texture file on it. I was playing around with different qualities, so I got a 4K texture file on here, and I want to see the difference between 4K, 2K, 1K. So my plan is to bring in three different ones, rename them three different ones, and bring in the 4K, 2K, 1K, and see the difference between how they actually look in camera. I just haven't done that quite yet. I was just playing around with it. So I'll just quickly show you how all this, and then over here I just kind of smoothed out where I didn't like how those jutted artifacts from Max Easy Terrain outside of my editable area came in. So I just kind of brought some ground up here, smoothed it out, make it look like a little bit of a knoll off to the side. So I'm just going to go back to terrain editing. Oh no, I can't do anything with that, it's outside my area. If I go here and I go here, you can see I'm clicking. I can't do anything with it because it's outside of my bounding area that I can actually affect. So when you're building a terrain, be careful with that. Be aware of that you're going to get some areas. I didn't care for this, and I think I said so at the time of the video. I was just zipping this off to do this ant level thing to show you how to do some stuff. I'm just going to jump in here now. And here we are. That is a shadow on the ground. And if you look out, it's because of this aircraft carrier. And it's blocking the sun and the shadows coming in. And it's just because of where I placed it. I placed it there on purpose to show you how the sun affects things. I'm going to actually exit out again. And I'm going to move that. Object, move that. And I'm going to put it back where I originally had it, which was, oh, no. Sorry. That is not where I wanted to put it because it is quite large. I wanted to put it out in the middle of this bay. Here we go. Right about there. And I want it about yay deep in the water. That'll do. Perfect. Alright, now we'll jump back in and you'll see that the shadow's not covering everything again. But if you look down the beach, you can see that massive aircraft carrier out there reaching way up into the sky, and you can see that the shadow falls over by these trees now. And there you go, there's the shadow. And there's the aircraft carrier, the sun behind it. And if we go back over to the beach, look up at the sky, and there, much better in the sky is our moon. I moved it up from about, where was I sitting at? I was sitting at 11,000 units, and I moved it up to 18,000 units, and I made it bigger. So it definitely looks more like a moon sitting in the sky, or another planet off in the distance or whatever. So, which was more the effect I was going for. Especially when you get up higher, like up at the, just right up to the beach here. Up top of the ant hill there, it doesn't change its perspective quite the same in the sky, so it'll track much better being that high up in the sky. Now we're going to come back over here, and you'll kind of look at, I smoothed this path out too instead of that big hump I had. And you can see there the willow tree scaled down at this size. It looks really good. And the leaves coming down look pretty sharp from the particle effects again. So I had that like ginormous size just to kind of see what I could work with without losing too much quality on the bark and stuff. But you can see it looks pretty good how it's sitting in there now, and it is casting shadows from the one branch to the other branch, and it's casting a shadow behind it. So you see there where the crook of the tree where the branches meets in shadow from the sun hitting. Even the bark, the normal maps and diffusion maps look really good on there. So that's a tree that I exported, converted with the Autodesk converter into a modern FBX format, then imported into Max, Game Guru Max. And here's these other trees. So I'll just come around this area. These are the built-in trees, and you can see they look pretty good. In my model, I had just this little bit of an edge here. I didn't want people to get too close to it here. I mean, even though this is just a demo, best practice, cover that up with something. I didn't want to get too nitpicky about sculpting and stuff, so I just threw these trees in here so you wouldn't even walk there. Plus, how this works in game level design is you've got a church or mausoleum straddled between sort of a fence that sort of guides you towards where to go. It's like, oh, I gotta go up here. Okay, I'll go here. And then you can see, if I get close up here, this texture file just looks amazing. There is a normal map that I created. It didn't have one. I created a normal map today and assigned it to it, and just popped its values just a little bit, but mostly softened and then just a little bit on the edges. So you don't have, if you look at those cracks there, you don't have a huge amount of depth, but you do have enough depth that it just add a little bit of a 3D punch to it. So that's kind of what I was going for there. And then I don't know if I come around this edge a little bit here, if I can show you much better, if I can get up closer. But yeah, you can see it looks pretty darn good, that weathered look and everything. Now you could set up an emissive too and have light coming from the from inside, and you could probably trigger that day and night if you wanted to, but wasn't really worried about it, especially in a demo level. And you could also alternate these trees out for different ones, or rotate the tree or whatever, so the branches weren't clipping the building. But again, I didn't really care. There's that edge again going back, just showing that exposed without a texture assigned to that one thin edge. Didn't really bother me. It's like, again, you can find ways to cover that up: beams, gardens, plants, grass, whatever. There's a lot you can do. And I just want to show you this bark compared to the willow bark under the sun. So the one thing about these Game Guru barks inside is they are a little bit darker naturally, whereas if I sidestep all the way over here, run up to the willow tree. Now the willow tree is a lighter bark, but you can see where it's actually just a little bit of a little bit too light compared to a lot of these other trees for the bark. So I just want to show you how to fix that real quick here. And there's that beautiful old rustic aircraft carrier sitting out there. And I'm going to escape. And then, so now what I want to do is just come in here. One thing I'm going to do actually is I've got that selected. I'm going to move it forward, put it onto the beach. And then I think I'm going to rotate that on the Y angle. Like that. Pull that onto the beach so I can run up to it to show you. Oh, and now the willow tree is in the shade, but that doesn't matter because what I want to show you here we go. We've got the willow tree selected. So what I want to do is I want to come in here. I don't care about the positioning. I want to go into the materials for the willow tree. And where I have this base color is a white, what I want to do is I want to go over here to just a little bit more of a brownish hue. And I want to just take this in just about there. Just to add a little bit to it, a little bit different color to it. And then I'm good with that. I'm going to just jump into the engine again. Oh, jump into the engine again. I'm not sure why I'm in the ocean. Why am I in the ocean? I did something there. I don't know. Oh! Huh. I think I put my... There we go. I think I put my start area under the ship. No? That's weird. I am not sure what I have done there. Try you there. Gonna take a minute to save because of that big texture. There we go. Try this again. That is just the weirdest thing. That might be a bug. Put me up on the path. Okay, now I'm on the path. So. Oh, I can back up, but I can't come forward. Right, okay. This aircraft carrier has, it's a static mode, but I've got collision shaped box. So I think what I want to do is, just for right now, I am just going to go no collision. And that'll probably fix what's going on. I don't understand the weirdness. Collision shape. No collision. Positioning. Okay, well, we'll put it here. And then I'll rotate it. Like that. There we go. Save. So I think what was happening before was I was hitting these little thin lines that come out. They would have been the bounding box on the collision mesh, and so I wasn't able to get that close to it. And because it's so ginormous, that would have mapped out a big area here for me. So let's just see if this fixed it. There we go. So now if I come down and try to get too close to it, I'm not going to be able to get right up to it because of those masked ore things coming out of there. Should stop me right around here. Or not. And I have no collision on it, so maybe I had to move it for the collision on it to take effect, but you could see the massive aircraft carrier. And then there's the moon. So that's pretty cool. Now I'm going to run. You know what a guy could do is you could make a dungeon level out of that. Let me just try something here. Okay. So just for fun. What if a guy... Oh, no. We're going to go. Yeah, that's fine. What if a guy went like about that. Then moved it. Well, over here somewhere, and moved it down, kind of like that, and then moved it. Kind of like there-ish, just for testing this out. That might be enough of an angle. By the way, in Game Guru Max, you hit spacebar, you deselect everything. There's my nice little moon. Now we're just going to run past this tree first to show you that color change, because I'd added just a little bit of a color to the base. See how it's a little bit more browny now coming out of the bark? So that matches better to the little bit of browniness that the in-game models have. Like I could probably do just a little more actually. I'm going to do that. You saw where that was. Get rid of the positioning. Go into the materials. I'm going to turn that just a little more browny. Right there. Perfect. Alright, and then we're going to go look at that again on our way over to the carrier. And you can see it's definitely a little more browny. See that? So you can really affect things. It didn't really affect the leaves at all because they have a different, an actual secondary texture file to them. But yeah, you can see I made that much more of a, it just kind of matches the environment more. So of course, depending what you're going for, you can naturally change tree models that you bring in. Whereas the trees in engine, you're going to get what you're going to get. They're all procedurally generated. So when you have specialty trees, or say like you got one in the courtyard, a wisdom tree, or a big giant elf tree, like I'm fond of doing, you can do a lot of tweaking when you bring those models in. Just be sparingly with them because they have a lot of vertices. They take up more memory. They're not procedurally drawn. So, you know, use them where you can in and amongst the self-generated trees that are low on resources, and go from there. So now I'm just going to run out here to the ocean. That carrier looks pretty cool on that angle actually. That looks way more like it's been left there for, you know, buried in the dirt for millennia, right? Some age gone by old war. But what I want to do is see if I can run up that, oh, I can't run up that hull. There is no mesh collision on that object. Okay, we need to go back. And because I want to run up the hull, I think what I'm going to have to do is go here. It is a static model, and the collision, I think I need to go, it's a pretty low polygon though, I think. So I'm going to turn that to, I can go a hull decomp. Might be easier, but I think I actually want to use polygon in this case because we want to run up the hull. So we're going to do that. And now I hit spacebar to deselect everything. Test the level, and we'll run up there. Hold the shift button down to run. Past our brown tree. Zoom over there. I'm out of the water and I'm up the, running up the rusted aircraft carrier. One other thing is I think I've got this just set to solid. I should change it to metal and then the sounds will be different. Take off run so I can get to the edge and look over. Ooh. So there we go. We're right at the edge of this aircraft carrier. And whoa, we're up high. See how big that is? And yet that moon is still way above us sitting in the sky because this is literally maybe 1,000 units tall, and that's sitting way up there at 18,000 units. So that still holds perspective even from here. Now what I want to see is just how tall the doors and stuff are on this. Let's start running instead of walking. I want to come over the edge here though. Actually, I want to look over the edge. Oh, now I'm bumping into that, so. Yeah, I can look down the edge. Pretty cool. Let's run across the deck. Is there a, let's see, a doorway per se. And those windows actually, even though they're up high, there's a window here, or a port or a vent or something. But this carrier might still be just a little bit small actually for the size it needs to be for those windows. Let's just see, based on those windows, from that height, I'm looking. No, it's probably pretty close. Probably pretty close. I probably got it on. But there is no door here, so there's no door entrance, so you'd have to put a door on here, rotate it, line it up, whatever, and then make that the portal in. So, run down. Good enough. So there you go. That's pretty much all I wanted to cover today. Show you how to bring some more models in, how to affect the underlying color of them. So the other thing I could do is this model. I can go down into the materials of this model and I could change that base color from a white. I could make it more rusty. I could go more here to like a brownie, and I could go bang onto that. I don't know how much it's going to affect it. But there might be a little more of an underlying base color to it anyway. I doubt it. Oh yeah, a little bit, yeah. See, so on the, that's got picked up a little bit of an orange hue. Up here, a little bit of an orange hue. A little bit of an orange hue here. Let's go back into that. Let's see if we make that a little more red, a little more orange. Let's go a lot more orange. And we zoom in on that again. There, it's a little more orangey. So you could play around with that. A little more orange makes it a little more rusty looking, right? Just a little more in the background. You got the deep rust, but then it gives you the other stuff. So anyway, man, I love that moon. That's going to work out well. There you have it. So what we've covered today is just on your own imported models, changing the color scheme a bit to match whatever environment you got going on in Game Guru Max. We covered bringing this down to a realistic size and adding a bit of an entryway area to lead someone into something like this church, which is demonstrating 4K textures on it. Then this ship only has a 1K texture on it, by the way, and it's scaled up really well, so I don't really see the need to go above 2K, but since I'm playing around experimenting in all these test levels, that's definitely something I just wanted to cover. But yeah, I mean, you have a door, you go in here, you could definitely make that a dungeon area, which would be a different level to go to. Something else that you could easily do is change the color of the water here. I think if I go into environment, light editor, environment effect, I'm going to go into environment effect here, and I'm just going to come down. I don't care about customizing the sky. I could make the lighting color just slightly more on the blue side. Make it a little less like a tropical oasis area. Let's go down here. And we're just going to go in here just a hair. A little less. There we go. That's a little better. Perfect. And then we also want to go down here to, we can give us a little more cloud. And a little more cloud coverage. Make it just a little bit of blue popping through. Okay, there we, perfect, that'll work. I'm going to make the clouds moving a bit faster too. Sure. And then, I don't care what time of day, morning's fine, I'll leave it at that. I want to do the water now. Where do I find the water again? That's under environmental effects, weather. Give you a little bit of fog. That's fine. Fog range is good. Don't need it raining, don't need snowing. It should be fine. Environmental effects. Don't need to worry about any of that. I want to come back to terrain. And then I think I've got the water settings here. Water height's fine, water speed. I want to change the water base color. I'm just going to bring it up here to a little more bluish, but I want to go turquoisey, a little turquoisey, a little more kind of there, but then I want to make it a little bit darker, like that. There we go. That's what I wanted to do. And speed just a little bit more here. Perfect. Wave size just a little bit more. Water wind contribution a little bit more. And wave choppiness just a little bit more. And wave choppiness maybe a bit more than that. Water fog stage. Water fog. And I want that water real foggy. I'm going to set that to 0. Perfect. Oh wait, actually I'm going to go water fog maximum. Set it to 2. Minimum. 1. Perfect. Oh, what did I do? I did something. There we go. Okay. Hopefully I didn't mess nothing up. Now we're going to just give that a quick test. See how much better that is. So now we're just a little more, we got a little more clouds in the sky there, right? Light slightly different. We've made it slightly bluer, slightly more teal. There's our tree. So by making that slightly more bluer in the air, it's kind of like more reflecting the sky and the ocean. And then we're going to come over here and look at the ocean. And there we go. We got a nice kind of aqua ocean. In fact, it could be a little tiny bit more towards the blue and a little darker, but you know what? That's fine. That's pretty good. Anyway, that's where I'm going to leave it for today. Just showing you a few other things, and go back here to the main camera, and we will catch you in the next one. Have a great night.